Alright guys, welcome to Let's Inspire Tech. Today we are just going to go through the practical section for lesson 2. So let's head over to our command prompt and type in Jupyter notebook to open the notebook. So here we can see our directories, but where I usually keep my files is in data analysis folder. So let's create a new file. So there we have it. The first thing we are going to do is import SQLite or SQLite. To run the cell, you press Shift and Enter together. And then the next thing we'll have to do is to create a connection to the database and create a new database. So let's go ahead. You can give it whatever name you want. So to know exactly what we are doing, let's create a heading for this. And we don't want this particular section to run, so we use the hash. So create connection. So what exactly we are doing here is we are holding in Python, but we are integrating SQL into it. So we need a connection to the database. So let's run this. The next thing we'll have to do is to create a cursor object. So basically, a cursor object helps you to interact with the database, perform operations with the database. So let's just go ahead. So the next thing we are going to do is to create a table. So we're just going to integrate SQL code in Python. So let's go ahead. Create a table in the data set. So we're going to use the cursor. The SQL statement we are going to use is a multiple line statement, so we need triple quotes. We are going to put the SQL statement inside the triple quotes. So let's go ahead. Create table. It's best practice to add if not exists. And then we add the name of the table fruits. We would run this by pressing Shift and Enter. Let's comment the changes. Run this and then let's close the connection. So it's best to close the connection because if the connection is still running, it's occupying space, and especially when we are done with it, there's no need for it to occupy unnecessary space. Also, there's a limit to the number of connections that are supposed to be running at a particular time. So if we are not using it, it's best to close it. Okay, we can see that we have all this going on, and to create a simple statement we have to do all these things. So I would want us to put everything in a function. A Python function is a block of code that does a particular task. So we are going to put all this in a function. So let's create a file up here. Set up app. Create a Python function. We use def to create a function and give it a name. Create table. So this is the syntax for creating Python function. And then we'll copy this, we'll cut it, Control X, and then we'll Control V here. And we'll do the same for the rest. So everything is in a function right now. So we can run this function by pressing Shift Enter, and then we see that nothing has happened. But mind you, you need this indentation here to show that all these things are inside the Python function. So for example, if we bring this to the back and we try to run it, we are going to run into an error, an indentation error. So we have to use the tab key and create an indent. So there we go. Nothing happens because when you create a Python function, it's like you're storing the code somewhere. You have to run it for it to actually take effect. So the name of the function is create table. So we are just going to come down here and get out of the indent. So now we are on the same line with the function right here. Then we are going to write create table to call the function, and then Shift and Enter. Our table has been created. Why is it that we cannot see the table? Because to view the items in the table, you need another SQL statement. But before then, let's put some data in the table. We are going to repeat most of what we have done here. So let's just copy this whole block of code and put it in the next cell. But the only thing we are going to change is populate. We are going to change this comment to populate table with data. We are going to change this SQL statement to insert into fruits. And then the values. Put a string in quotes and then the price. So there we go. And here we are going to call populate table function. nothing happens again because we need another SQL statement to view the data in the table. So let's copy this again, paste it here, and change this to view table. We are going to clear this. It's going to be a single statement, so you need just single quotes or double quotes. So select star then we are going to assign it to rows and use the cursor to fetch the data. And then we are going to view the rows. Now this is Python code. You don't have to worry about it right now. We are going to go through it in the subsequent lessons, but we need it right now. That's why we are using it. So there we go. So this is the only data we have in our table. You can add more data to the table. You can go to the populate table function and add more data. So this is how we add data. We put a comma by the first record we inserted and then add some new records. So we give it an ID of 2 in a string. We name orange and then we give it a price of 2.35. You can add 3 more. We run the cell, shift enter, and then we view the table. Because we are redoing this again, this is going to appear twice. So if we don't want this to appear twice, we would clear this from it. Because we have run this already, the first record is already in the table and we are running this again. So the first record is going to duplicate in the table. So let's just see how it looks like. We have run it and let's view the table. So there we have it. We have 2 apples with the same ID. This is not right. We would have to delete one. So let's move on to the next SQL statement we would want to do. Delete the data. So let's just clear this and this. So inside here we need some triple quotes again because we have a multiple line statement. let's run this and then come back and view our table. Because we deleted from the table the records with ID of 1, all the apples are going to go. So all the apples went. Thank you for joining me in today's session. Until next time, keep on practicing, and all the very best in your data analytics journey. Bye bye.